Hi everybody, welcome to a new semester here in school and a new semester of app webinars. We'll just keep kicking them out the rest of the school year, and we're going to open up this year or this semester with taking a look at a tool called Write Online. That's the app. It's right here. It looks like this. Many of you may be familiar with the software product Write Online. It's from the Crick software company. They also make Clicker 6. They make the Clicker apps, Clicker Docs, Clicker Sentences, Clicker Books. Those are all parts of the Write Online, or of the Crick software family. But Write Online is the newest to have an app. It retails for $30.99, and really it looks very similar to Clicker Docs, and it is very similar to Clicker Docs. It's just aimed at maybe an older group of students as opposed to Clicker Docs, which might be more your elementary students. Write Online is more your middle school, high school students. So let's open it up and take a look at what Write Online looks like here. Now, one of the main components of Write Online is that you can use it even if you're not online. It lives online. You can use it at school. You can pull it up again at home, and you don't have to be online to use it, but you can share it back and forth. This does have the capability to share back and forth with Dropbox, but this does not interface with Write Online, the software program. So this is what it looks like. Basically what we've got is a very, very similar setup to Clicker Docs. We look over on the far left top corner of the screen, there's a little file folder. If we tap on that, this shows us kind of what all exists within our app, everything that we've worked on before. What's kind of different about this is this stores documents as well as grids all together in one place. It isn't like it breaks down what's a document, what's a grid. You kind of have to just know what you're looking for here. But you can see this shows what's on the iPad. Here's a document that we're working on. Here's some grids we've created. If you go into examples, that's going to show you several other grids that they have created within there that you could potentially use, both word-based grids or they're all word-based grids, but some categorized by set up by category, some set up by alphabetic order. If you know anything about Crick software, they have a website called learninggrids.com. You connect to Learning Grids. You can go in and you can download other grids that people have made, or other grids or documents or activities that people have made, and download them for free as long as people have set them up on there. Dropbox is Dropbox is a nice way to move things on and off. If we had a Dropbox account connected to this, you can go down to the bottom. You can hit link to Dropbox, sign in your Dropbox, and you can move things that you do on here off onto the computer if you want as well. We go back to iPad. If you hit add something here, we hit add. We can add either a document, a word bar, or a folder, so we can create our own folders and categorize these a little bit better if we wanted to. But once you choose this and create it, you just add the name, and then it's going to dive into creating something. So we've already got a document started. So I'm going to go up and hit close, and then we can take a look at this document as well. So the big thing about, or the two big things that are going to help with writing, I guess three big things that are going to help with writing on Write Online, is that you've got audio feedback. So when you write something, you hit enter, you hit the punctuation, or when you finish a sentence, someone put a punctuation in there. It's going to read that back. It's going to highlight everything as it reads to you. So that's one of the components that's going to be helpful for students with writing. They're going to be able to hear where they've made mistakes. Another component that's helpful with writing is it's got this word prediction bar that sits on top of your computer screen here. So this is going to, as you type, it guesses what you're trying to write. It's supposed to guess within context of what you're writing as well, so that it provides better words for you. It's got a larger vocabulary than the word prediction within Clicker Docs as well. But you'll see as we start typing something, we'll say this field, we go F-I-E, F-I-E-L, I don't have to get any further than that. I see a field pops up in my list here. If I want to listen to these words, I can tap this arrow with the speaker first, and then the next thing that I tap, it's going to read that out loud to me. So we'll hit field, and now the next time I hit it, it's going to choose it for me. You can see I didn't add an S to the end of the word this. So I get a little red line under it indicating that it's spelled incorrectly. If I want to spell check that, I can tap on it, and it's going to spell check down here within my word prediction bar. When it's spell checking, the words show up as red. So, but the same concept applies here. If I want to listen to these words, I tap the arrow with the speaker first, tap the word, it reads it, I tap the word again, it replaces the misspelled word in my document. It doesn't then go back to the end. We have to move back to the end of the text if we want to go from there. So that's a couple of the writing features that are nice on there. The other component of this that's helpful is a writing feature that's that we see on Clicker Documents, and that's the word bars. And you can access word bars by tapping this little tab right here. That's the word bar tab, and that's going to bring up a word bar that I created called Assistive Technology. And you can see that I've got within the Assistive Technology word bar, I've got different categories here. I have General AT, Computer Access, Reading, Writing, Studying. So if I wanted to continue writing, if I go back and I tap, if I tap this button again, it shows me the keyboard, and I can continue writing is growing, and then I could maybe want to say something about computer access. I can go back into my tab here and see my word bar and go to the computer access bar, and I could say, you know, for computer, and then go back and type access, and then say we use, and then go back into this to look for a word that I may not be able to spell very well, and say speech recognition, and we could go from there. So that's kind of how you would use the tab. You can flip back and forth between your keyboard and your word bar that you've got there. These other tabs here, this is a delete key, so you can delete and just backspaces. It doesn't take out the entire word, but we can backspace using that, not having to go into the keyboard. This is an enter key, same idea there. If we wanted to go in and we wanted to edit or create these word bars, we go up to this button here on the top right that looks like a little grid with a pencil to it. That's edit the grid, and that's going to take us to whatever our active grid happens to be at that time. So you can see here I've got this active grid that has, if we look over here, this is how it breaks down for us. It gives us each of the 4 grids that or the 5 grids that I have: AT, Computer Access, Reading, Writing, Studying. So if we tap on any of these, you'll see the words that we have listed. It will show a color. We can change the background color or not. We can set the word order, whether we want it alphabetical, by row, by column. We give it random or fixed. And then if we wanted to add another category to this, we can just go up here and we can hit add. And let's just say we add communication. And we'll just call it AAC. And then in my words, we might add just let's just say let's say iPad. We'll say autism. We'll say nonverbal, and we'll say let's just say pro, low, quo, to, go, and then we'll just say Dynabox. Okay. So we add all those things in. You can see now if we look at the bottom of our screen, we've got those 5 words in a grid. If I go back and I hit go now, we should see that we have edited this to the point that now AAC is tacked onto the end of that, so we can add that piece as well. So you can make grids that way by typing in words. Another way that we can make grids that's pretty cool is we can copy text that we have and take every one of those words and turn it into a word grid of alphabetic order. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to go out to the internet here, and I'm going to just go to the iCater homepage, and we'll take a look at that. And I'm going to grab a chunk of text from the iCater homepage. We'll get all of this text right here. So I'm going to tap and hold the highlight. I'm going to drag this across all the text I want to get selected, and I'm going to hit copy. Now I'll go back into Write Online. I'm going to go into the file folder, and I'm going to create a new document here. So we'll hit add, and we'll create not a document, a word bar. And you can see there a new word bar pops up. We'll rename this and we'll call it iCater. And then we'll go open it up. And so now we have nothing in this iCater option. I'm going to go up here to where it says paste A through Z. I'm going to tap paste A to Z. It's going to bring up everything that we've got in there. And I can tell it, see down at the bottom, I can say exclude the 100 most common English words. We'll do that. So things like the and are not in there. Then we hit create grids. And now we've got well, A through W, because there's no X, Y, Z words in there, but we've got A through W, and it's got every word that was in there in alphabetic order within that. So now if I wanted to go and continue writing, I can hit go and go back. Now this is my active grid is what I just created from iCater, and you can see across the bottom there are all your letters. If you want to go say right about iCater, we'll hit I. And there it's going to bring up iCater and whatever else we had in there, so I can just hit iCater to have that entered into my document. The other thing that I want to show you quickly here is the settings stuff. So if I go up to settings, we can change the appearance. If I hit appearance, you can change the document font. This font, you can do all of the same stuff that you can do in Clicker Docs, but here the font is more of a middle school, high school font. It's not the large, kid-looking font you might see, but you can change that in Clicker Docs as well. This is the default. You can change the font size. You can change the document background or the text color to meet the needs of your student. If you go to speech, you can change the voice. We have Heather. We probably have a male voice as well. Well, Heather's the only U.S. accent. You could use Rachel or Tyler, but those are British and Australian. You can change the speed of reading, the highlighting color, and then you could have it change that if you want it to read every word until somebody's used to gets a little bit better at writing and doesn't need to listen to every word. You could have it do that, but right now we have it speak on each sentence. If you go to spell checker and predictor, you can turn the spell either one on or off. With the predictor, the word display it goes up to 8, but it's set at 6. Ideally, 5 or 6 is the most you want because somebody's going to spend more time looking through the word list if you have any more than that. You can change your display size there as well. And then under accessibility, you can change. We have it on so you can swipe and change the grids. You can also show touches if you turn that on. If you turn show touches on, now you'll see there's a little yellow dot wherever I touch. That would have been helpful for me to turn on earlier so you could have seen where I was tapping on here, but that's a way for somebody to tell where they might be tapping on the screen. That is the bulk of that's pretty much everything here. If you're familiar with how Clicker Docs works, this is very, very similar. There's not much different, but this is aimed at your older kids. And again, this retails for about $30.99. It's a good app. It's a great app for writing. It can certainly be very helpful. And again, the best way to kind of move things around on here is to go in and put things in Dropbox and move them out of Dropbox. Use Dropbox instead of emailing things back and forth. But a good tool for writing. It takes a lot of what you do right online on the computer and it moves it into a mobile environment. So that's all I have. As always, if you want to view this again or more of our app webinars, everything that we've ever done is archived on our iCater Toolbox app that's free in the iTunes store. You can also always email me at james-stachowiak@uiowa.edu. Or you can give me a call at 319-335-5280. Have a great semester, everybody, and we look forward to continue doing app webinars for you.